getting on our plane. This flight was over 4 hours delayed. In fact, it's gonna be about 5 hours delayed by the time we actually get there, because we got notification late last night that our 12:30 flight was pushed back to 4:30, and it's 4:20 right now. So we're still boarding the plane. I have a feeling it's gonna be pretty late by the time we get into Ho Chi Minh, and we're just gonna wanna like get our stuff in the room and grab something to eat and sleep. Headed to the Thanh Market over here in Ho Chi Minh in District 1. It's one of the oldest and one of the biggest markets in this area. It's a very, very popular place for shopping. I guess they've got all kinds of like souvenirs, and I think they even have like food markets and stuff in there. So we're gonna see what all they have. We didn't really do much shopping here in Vietnam, so.
What's the #1 rule when you're in these shops?
Other than let Darren do all the bargaining for
Negotiate.
you? Negotiate, yes. Let Darren do all of your bargaining for you. That is why I bring him all these places.
I'm not that
You're
aggressive.
savvy. You're, I wouldn't call you aggressive, but you hold your ground, and that's important.
Yeah.
Other important rule is don't have your phone in your pocket. One of the guys at one of the booths just was like, oh, your phone, be careful. And I was like, yeah, I'm not thinking
In your
straight.
back pocket?
Yeah, you know, these are, because it's a really tight space, it is kind of a hot spot for people to maybe pickpocket you, so you just have to be careful.
I have a pocket with a zipper.
Hey, you're fine, you're fine. Mine was like literally hanging out of my pocket, because my pockets are short.
There's not a whole lot there in those shorts.
There's not, I got the shorts on, it's really hot.
I gotta be honest, this market's amazing.
So,
Yeah.
Oh, going this way.
what you looking for?
Just looking, thank you. Yeah, this market is really nice.
Yeah.
Like, good quality stuff. Everything is very organized. Very organized. Clean, it's very clean.
It's hotter than hell in here though.
It's hot, but you know, every market is good.
One t-shirt for you, sir.
Oh, I need to find an ATM.
Yeah, all these places do cash only, and we just use whatever cash we had left on the souvenirs that we got for us and the parents. Well, we decided that we absolutely wanted to get some 360 views of Ho Chi Minh City. So we came up to the Bitexco building. It's a very iconic building here in Ho Chi Minh, up to the Saigon sky deck. It's definitely best to come up here right around sunset. The views are absolutely fantastic. And I'm just loving getting to see what the whole city looks like.
What did it cost us to come up here?
It was less than $10 per person, per adult, and it's of course less than that for kids. So I think if you're in this area, it's absolutely worth doing.
Yeah, I'll throw some pictures up to see that, you know, if you know anything about skyscrapers, this is a pretty iconic building throughout the world. So it's got an amazing helicopter platform that sticks out on the side of the building that's very recognizable.
Very unique, yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Okay, so we've come about an hour and a half northwest of Ho Chi Minh to the Cu Chi tunnels to climb around underground for a little bit and see what life was like in the tunnel system for the Vietnamese army during the war.
I'm a little nervous because I get claustrophobic, and these are really, really tight spaces. So let's see how I fare.
It's gonna be interesting.
I hope I make it all the way through.
Yeah. Yeah, you keep 1 minute for take photo.
Get in there.
Arriba. Okay, right.
It's hard getting back out. That is a tight space. And this isn't even the real one. This is what they made for tourists that are bigger than the Viet Cong were. Those were even smaller. Can't believe we're just strolling through the woods where the Viet Cong were living for all those years.
Yeah, underneath the ground, underneath us, there's hundreds, if not thousands of tunnels in this particular area.
It's a very intricate system.
That were, 3 meters to down to 30 meters. Tour, you obviously have the option to shoot rifles while you're here, specifically AK-47, so we're gonna give it a shot. Probably won't show it because you know how YouTube is with guns, so you can definitely hear it.
We're gonna give it a shot. All the puns intended.
Yeah, when do you shoot AKs in Vietnam? Was interesting tunnel.
Yeah, it was.
Of course, they're not original. They're built bigger for the tourists, like we said. But you know, we're duck walking all the way through that thing for the most part. So it's a quad burner for sure, and it's hot down there.
It is definitely toasty.
So this is the kitchen bunker, and they have a stove running, and they try to minimize the smoke, so they funnel it with a underground chimney, which is 20 yards or so over here. So last excursion of the day, we just took a boat across the Mekong to, I guess, maybe pick up some smaller sampans to go into some of the smaller waterways here on the Mekong. Toward the end of the day, it's going to be a long day. I didn't realize it was going to be so long, but this is an 11-hour day for us. Good morning.
So, this morning we're starting our day off with a trip to the War Remnants Museum. These are all things that they have collected since the Vietnam War. There's also displays on the war, the impacts of different agents that were used, and kind of the Vietnamese telling of their experience during the Vietnam War. So we are not going to film inside for the channel. Just don't find that necessary.
No, we'll show some of the displays out here and the sort of this front area, and that's just, you know, displays of different pieces of equipment they acquired during the takeover. So
yeah, aircraft
inside,
and stuff like that. Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what it looks like inside, but more than likely we won't film inside.
Right. But everything we've read has indicated that this is a must-do attraction when coming to Ho Chi Minh City. And for the two of us to come in to see the museum display, it was only $3.13 US for the two of us, not each. So really, really affordable activity. And again, it's supposed to be like the #2 thing to do here in Ho Chi Minh.
Yep. So we just got finished with the War Remnants Museum here in Saigon. Ho Chi
You
Minh.
can say either one and it doesn't appear to be wrong.
We see a lot of hotels, a lot of restaurants still use Saigon, which is interesting.
Including the one we're staying at.
So what are your thoughts?
So I found it interesting. Like, I'm really glad that we went. I thought that, you know, it's mostly pictures telling the story from the Vietnamese side of things. The one thing that's kind of lacking, and I've read this during the reviews online and stuff like that, is there's no talk about treatment of like American soldiers. You only really get the side of like what Americans were kind of doing to the Vietnamese, the soldiers and the people and whatnot. But I think being American, we grew up learning the American side of the Vietnam War. And now we're getting to learn the Vietnamese side and maybe things that we were never taught. And I think it's really important to know both sides of things and then kind of come up with like your own opinion about the situation, about what happened.
Yeah, I think would be, you know, when you're here, come to see it.
Yeah.
Go through the different, there's 3 floors of information in the outdoor exhibition. It's worth coming and just getting a different perspective.
Absolutely.
And learning what you can about it. It's good information and some very graphic photos for sure.
If you are emotional like I am, bring tissues. I mean, I was choking back tears in several areas. Definitely bring some tissues and dedicate enough time. I kept reading that you need at least 2 to 3 hours. You don't want to like rush through it. We were there 2.5 hours, so I think that's a completely legitimate recommendation. Give yourself enough time. Don't rush through it. Lunch is served. Our time in Independence Palace, and I think that like the concept of stepping foot inside this building, this iconic building that represents the transformation of one Vietnam, you know, the end of a war, end of Saigon as it was known, I think is just really, really cool to get to say that like we've done that. I don't think either of us ever expected that we would have that experience.
Not in a million years. Not in a million years I think I'd end up in this building or in front of these gates or in this country.
Again, if you love the history of this country or you're interested in the history of this country, I think it's definitely worth visiting.
Yes, yes. You can like picture yourself, because we're about to go stand in front of this gate and take some photographs of, you know, tanks crashing through that gate, April 1975. Here we are 50 years later. So much has changed here. It's unbelievable.
It's really crazy. A lot of history, a lot of history. So we decided today to have lunch at this really cool food market. They call it the street food market here. Darren will put the name of it in the bottom because I don't want to butcher the name of this place. It's right across from the Independence Palace, and
Yeah, so literally, right down the street, right here, is where the North Vietnamese broke through the gate in 1975.
yeah.
Just for reference.
And they have a little bit of everything. They have tons of, you know, Vietnamese stuff, of course, like all the things you would expect, pho and banh mi and stuff like that. They also have international cuisine too, like Korean and Greek. Darren's
Italian.
going Greek.
You get pizza. There's at least, in here, there's at least 35 stores,
Yeah, like food stalls.
food stalls at least. And it's tasty, it smells great.
Yeah, it's very affordable. Maybe a little more expensive than you would pay for like actual street food, like off the street on a cart, but it's still very, very affordable. And all the different options, it's nice. There's the fans blowing and stuff like that, and there's just a little something for everybody.
Yeah. And we're right on the street.
Hey, everybody. I'm really sad to say that this finishes up our time here, not just in Ho Chi Minh City, but in Vietnam as well. We love Ho Chi Minh City. There's so much to do here. We've had such a great time. The people are so lovely. And I mean, I just feel like 4 days wasn't really enough. I wish that we had like a couple weeks here.
Really enjoyed our time here. The people are absolutely wonderful. The food is amazing. Where you can see
Delicious.
right behind us, there's a street food place we're doing for lunch. There's a ton of things to do, like I said. So we're gonna miss this place for sure.
Tremendously, but I will tell you that I don't think this is going to be our last time coming to not just Vietnam, but Ho Chi Minh City as well. I would totally come back. There's a ton that we did not get to do this time that we'll absolutely try to make time for next time. And as always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you liked it, please give us a thumbs up.
Make sure you subscribe. It's free. It helps us out a ton.
Thank you, and we can't wait to see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.